Alright guys, this video we'll just be teaching you some common terms. Most of them you've already heard already in my last video, but I'll just be writing them down and make sure you know them. First one, databases. What is a database? Do you remember? A database stores information organized. Well, at least you want it to. And the next one, table. A table stores related data in a database. So the example I gave was, what was it? Account info and comments. These may be two tables. That way your data is more organized. The next one I went over was, I think, columns. Yeah. These are tables. An example of a column would be user ID and name. Rows. Rows are pretty much individual entries into the columns. So user ID 27, name Caleb. Like that. That would be a row of data. Primary key. Do you remember what this was? It's very important. Primary key is what keeps everything unique. So the user ID would be a great primary key. So let me think, what right here? I don't need to write anything. That's basically what it is. It just keeps it unique. So yeah, these would both be primary keys. Okay. The new one in this video is foreign key. And don't worry, if you don't understand one of these, by the end of the series, I promise you will be a pro. Well, I mean, I'm a pretty good teacher. Alright, so a foreign key is a reference to a primary key in a different table. So let's say you have comments right here. Actually, let me give some room to teach this. You have comments. And under the comments you have the message. So this is the table. That is the primary key, which is also a column. Column stores individual rows. Multiple columns makes rows. So then the actual message is the next column. And then, who is the comment by? Instead of writing the username a billion times for each comment, you can just have it say, it can reference the user ID over in this users table. That way everything stays consistent. If there's a change over here, it'll change over here. There shouldn't be a change. That's another thing. But these connect these, so it reduces the chance of screwing something up and having incorrect data or unorganized data. So this right here is a primary key. No. Foreign key, sorry. This here is a foreign key. This is a primary key. If that's confusing, don't worry. I promise this will make so much more sense in the next few videos. Yeah, that's right. So basically, a foreign key is a reference to another primary key. Alright, the next term we have here, I believe this word is surrogate primary key. I may be wrong on that, and I'm too lazy to look it up. Just kidding. But anyways, what a surrogate primary key is, it's like a primary key. It actually is a primary key. It's just when there's no logical primary key available, you make one up. Let's say you're running a website and you have a table for your comments from everybody. So let's say you have the body of the comments and then who it's from. What would be the primary key? Well, there technically isn't a good one. I mean, you could use the body or the subject or something, but that means you can't change it and that it has to be unique from everything else. So let's say your comment is hey, and that is used as the primary key. Well, then that means nobody else can have a message that says hey. It's just not allowed, because then it wouldn't be unique. You'd have two of the same. So that's kind of confusing. So what you need is a surrogate primary key. And a surrogate primary key is just a primary key that you make up. So instead of having body, subject, and who it's from, you would have comment ID. This is a surrogate primary key. I say that because each comment isn't going to naturally have an ID. It has no purpose other than being a primary key. Hey guys, the next thing I'll be doing is going over some more advanced terms. The first one, I'd have to say, it's not super advanced, don't worry. You'll be able to handle it. This. Now, I'm pretty sure that's pronounced tuple, maybe tuple, but I'm pretty sure it's tuple. Anyways, it's probably wrong either way. This is another name for a row, so that's all you gotta memorize. It's the same thing as a row. Can you see that? Yeah. I'd say attribute. Now, attribute is each individual cell. Now you can have each individual row here, or tuple. So this is a tuple, that's a tuple. Now an attribute would be each individual box here. So that's an attribute, that's an attribute, that's an attribute, that's an attribute. This can also be called a field. So attribute and field. Right? Now what is atomic? Let's say you have a field and it is name. And you put Caleb Curry in that field like that. Now this is not atomic. Atomic means you cannot break it up any farther. So if you wanted to make this atomic, you would make it first name and have that as Caleb. Then you have another one, last name, and have that as Curry. It's because that's as low as you can go. I mean, obviously you're not going to break it up into letters, like first name's first letter. I mean, that's crazy. So that is what atomic means. It means you can't break it up any farther. Another good example of that is like where you live. You would have, instead of just saying, where do you live? And then they put their address and state and everything. You'd have state, city, zip code, and then add street address.